There's certainly nothing like a talented young horse to capture the imagination of the racing public, and Hawam certainly did that with his in-form win in the Daily News 2000.
Now Hawam gets the shake up and comes into the lead. Twist of Fate comes towards the outside to make a race of it. It's Hawam by a length and a quarter. Twist of Fate is trying to wear it down over the last 100. Hawam still being kept together. Twist of Fate is trying to make a race of it, but Hawam's going on, and Hawam will win it. Twist of Fate will get second, Capiera third, Zilzal fourth.
I've always said that not since Racingit'sarush have I had a proper horse, and this is a proper horse, and I think he's in that sort of league, you know, with Racingit'sarush, you know, maybe even a variety club, but he's got to do a whole lot more before one talks about him in the same breath as those horses. But he's going the same route, you know, as those type of horses. It's all good and well, everybody booming a horse up, but you've got to beat the best. And in my opinion today, certainly over this trip, he beat what I think is probably the second best 3-year-old around. In Joey's horse. I thought up until now he hadn't really been tested. I thought this is the kind of race that was going to test him, and Joey's horse, being in the fine form that he's been in, he's run second, third in all the top races. He won the Guineas. He was going to test him today, and I'm glad he came through it, and I'm glad the race worked out like it did, that he actually had to dig down deep. I've always maintained I'm absolutely very happy to run the horse into the July. It's going to be a decision that Sheikh Hamdan will be involved in. He likes to be involved in that kind of thing in Angus Gold, but to be honest with you, if it's up to me, this horse runs. There was never any doubt that he wouldn't, in my opinion, but again, I must emphasise the fact that the decision will be made by Sheikh Hamdan and Angus, and as soon as I get the green light from them, certainly the public will be told, but I mean, they will be encouraged by me to run. July's our premier race. It's the one everyone wants to win. I don't, you know, if he didn't win it, it wouldn't take a lot of shine away from him, in my opinion. And it would be fantastic to see him with an older sibling in the race. I don't know how too often they're probably first and second favourite, which is quite amazing. So it would be a great spectacle and something I would hope can happen.
Just as the Daily News 2000 is a race all trainers wish to win, so too is the Grade 1 Woolavington 2000.
But Silvano's Pride still clear by 3, coming to the 200. Return Flight tries to throw down the gauntlet. Front and centre's running all over, but is running on. And it's Silvano's Pride, still holding him at bay. Down the inside, front and centre. Silvano's Pride, front and centre, but Silvano's Pride won it.
Silvano's Pride showed just how good she is when winning the Grade 1 Woolavington a week ago. Justin, is this a filly who's maturing with age?
No, look, it was a tactical thing. We've been waiting for a long time to get over the 2000, and I didn't want to do it until the right moment because, you know, the opposition probably would have figured out that she doesn't stop over 2000. So I'm glad that we waited for the right race to showcase her stamina. So it was a plan with Richard and I from a long way out, and so we were very fortunate in that it worked, and they let her go far enough ahead of the field so that she could relax. So we're over the moon, and she deserves it. She's always right there in all the features from Cape Town to Natal, so there's no reason why she doesn't deserve her day in the winner's box, and no better than in the Woolavington. So to Anthony Peters on breeding her and owning her, what a pleasure. And she was raised at Fastfontein, so just over the moon for everybody. I won the race for Fastfontein with Bella, so great that they're still involved in this race.
She's by Silvano out of a Jetmaster mare, the same Nick that has produced none other than Hawam. This is a really strong family and a mixture of bloodlines.
Without a doubt. So, you know, as I said, she's worth a fortune now at stud, and really looking forward to, you know, her 4-year-old career. It won't be that easy. You've got to go up now into the big league. So just glad that where we go from now, I just have to look at the program, whether she runs in the Group 2 on Gold Cup Day or packs up and rests for the summer. I'll chat to Anthony today and tomorrow.
Front and centre was close-up second to Silvano's Pride. Peter, how has she come through that run?
Michelle, she actually unfortunately picked up a slight injury during the race, She got hit in the eye with what clearly must have been a clod kicking up. That eye was very painful yesterday morning. She is marginally ulcerated there. So that could have been a reason for her disgraceful race manners down the straight, where she made a run up the outside fence and finished up on the inside fence, which clearly cost her the race.
Something like that, a clot to the eye, does affect them in the course of running, doesn't it?
Most definitely. You could equate it to yourself. If you get punched or hit in the eye during any sort of competition, it's surely going to take your focus off the job at hand.
And this is just something that can unfortunately happen.
It happens. We actually had Charles in the following race picked up the same condition. So it does happen from time to time.
Where to from here with her?
Well, front and centre will now head towards the Garden Province on July Day. We have 5 weeks to freshen her up, put some speed back in her legs. She's very versatile, and obviously Saturday showed us that she gets a mile and a quarter. But she is versatile, and she's obviously a very talented filly who can be very competitive at the top end over a mile as well.
Thoroughbred racing is not only about the classics or sprints, but also for those horses who have stamina and can win over distance. Sean, whilst others may have become disheartened with Liege after his Summer Cup win 18 months ago, you never did. What's made the difference in helping him find the winner's box again?
I think clearly it was just a step up in distance that made the difference, and it wasn't really this run that was a surprise. In his last start over the 3-2, he actually acquitted himself very well, having travelled too well in the race, and he still finished it off very nicely. So that gave us enough confidence for this race.
Where to from here for him?
He's probably a Gold Cup horse, and I'm not too sure if I'm going to give him another run in Durban or if he'll have a prep in Joburg, but I would imagine Gold Cup is the right race for him.
Gimme One Night was a credible second to Liege in the Lonsdale Stirrup Cup.
He's actually progressed significantly since his first up run here in the Sledgehammer. Obviously Saturday's run was over a trip more suitable for him. He's still not at 100% fitness, with his main aim being the Gold Cup. But he's just heading in the right direction. He's probably at the correct place in the handicap to be competitive in the Gold Cup, so we have to look after that rating. There are a lot of options for him. There's the 3,000 metre race on July Day. There's also the 2,200 metre race, and that's probably a better lead up into the Gold Cup. So at this stage we're tending towards the 2,200 metre consolation, July, whatever it's maybe term now. Which will keep him ticking over and get his fitness levels up perfect for the Gold Cup.
An interesting runner last weekend was the highly talented son of Camelot from the Justin Snaith yard. The Australian import Crown Towers took 6 efforts to find the winner's box again after having won his maiden on his first outing to the track in September last year. Has it been a patience game in trying to find how to get the best out of him?
It hasn't been easy, I can assure you. He won his maiden so well. It was a split race though, so I actually won both splits on the day with a horse called Trip to the Sky. Finally won a race since, so you got to be careful, because the handicappers obviously don't look at it yes, this was a maiden race split and it weakens. So they won really well on that day, and haven't been able to back it up. It's been a long road, I can assure you. We're very fortunate to find a field where the whole race can be easier and that easier to manage, like you saw with Hawaii in a small field. Just really glad that we got the second win out of him. He's a horse that I can now maybe build on that, and hopefully on Vodacom Durban July Day there's a nice race for him. So that's what I'm hoping for right now, to be honest.
So what about our sprinters, and how are they shaping up? Life has a funny way of working out at times, and although Chimichurri Run was sold from your yard earlier in his career, you were clearly meant to have him.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. I mean, racing, every horse has got a story, and Jimmy's no different. Yeah, he's a lovely little guy. He's loaded with ability. We were pretty confident he could pull it off in the Tsogo sun, and yeah, he's come through it well.
Will you aim him at the Mercury Sprint possibly on Gold Cup Day?
Yes, definitely.
With regard to your other runners in that race, Trip to Heaven and Africa Rising, will they also be aimed there or elsewhere, Sean?
They'll both be looking at that race as a possible opportunity, but Africa may take his place in the KZN Breeders' Mile at the end of the month.
Now, Trip to Heaven seems to run well for Lyle Hewitson. Do some horses just run better for some riders than others?
I think they do. It's about what the rider's doing on top of them, and Lyle has never rushed him or pushed him. We're well aware of his antics at the start, and he actually runs better races when he does lose a length or two at the start. The once or twice that he's jumped on terms, he hasn't really finished his race off. And Lyle just gives him the time and the opportunity to find himself and goes when he's ready.
Now, it's lovely to see a graded stakes filly as a 2-year-old train on and win a grade 1 in her 3-year-old career. We're talking of none other than Celtic C. How's she taken her run, and when can punters and fans expect to see her out again?
Yeah, she's taken her run well. At the end of the day, there's not too much opportunity left in the program for her. I'd imagine the only possible races would probably be the Garden Province or the Mercury. So we'll just have to see how we go and make a decision later on.
Justin, you tried something different with Snowdance at the end of May when she lined up in the SA Filly Sprint at Scottsville. Were you pleased with that run?
Yes, I was. I was very happy with it. I see the handicap has dropped to 2 pounds, which I don't understand. She ran second in a Group 1. It was that whole mix-up here in Natal where we moved the meetings from Scottsville to Greyville, Polly. Unfortunately, that day, Snowdance was meant to barrier trial at Scottsville, and she lost that. So she had to go into the race with no preparation, and I thought it was a phenomenal effort. The winner won well, but I think had we had that barrier trial at Scottsville, it would have been a lot closer. So she's going to come on from that I know for sure. She'll take her place in the Garden Province, and I think the handicappers will be putting back the 2 pounds they took off her. So it'll be very interesting. She's definitely doesn't warrant being dropped. She's a class act, and you know, we're getting to now that will probably be her swan song, and off to Drakensberg.
And then lastly, Sean, Eden Rock is all heart and gave Lyle Hewitson his all in the gold medallion. Is there an exciting future ahead of this colt?
I think he's a lovely colt. I think that his class got him through the 1200. I mean, it was definitely too sharp for him. And yeah, stepping up to the 14 in the mile on the 2 feature days will definitely be to his liking, I'd imagine, especially the mile at the end of July.
Now tell me, are you just raiding with these horses? Are they coming down racing and going back, or are you leaving any of them down in KZN?
At the moment, I haven't left much. I have left 1 or 2 down, but none of these. Yeah, we'll be raiding most of the time this season.
Your 2-year-old filly, Miss Florida, stepped up to win the Allan Robertson with Luke Ferraris recently. How has she come on since that run, and where to from here for her?
It was a great gutsy win. She's never put a foot wrong. She's never lost anything. In fact, she won her barrier trial. She wins her gallops. She likes to be in front. So it's the only time she ever pricks her ears, when she seems to get in front of another horse. I asked Luke, "Do you think she'll go further?" And he says yes. So the next race is the 1400 on July Day. So, but we want to draw. To be honest, if she draws badly, I'm not going to even attempt it. So, as I said earlier in the season, the 1400 at Greyville is the nightmare from a bad draw. A mile you can sort of get away with it. The 14, you're starting at the draw hall, and you're on the turn. You're just chasing horses the whole time. So Captain Al's produced the best 1400 meter horses in South Africa, hands down. If there was a Group 1 over 1400 in South Africa, Captain Al would have won it every year. So, you know, I'm talking horses like Brett Scott, Undercover Agent, Snowdance. So there's no reason why she's by Captain Al that she shouldn't get the 1400. But as I said, we need the draw.
With so many exciting horses racing, it's not surprising that this time of the year is known as Champions Season.